All right, today we're diving into something really cool, a classic Zen sermon. And what's wild is that it uses this totally bizarre little story to blow the lid off a huge truth about our own minds and, all the things we spend our lives searching for. And it all kicks off with this quote. I mean, just listen to this. A guy thinks he's lost his own head, but the second he stops looking for it, he realizes it was never gone. How does that even work? It sounds totally nuts, right? Well, that paradox, that's the key to this whole thing. Let's get into it. So, this entire teaching is built on this really old parable, the story of a man named Yajnadatta. And honestly, it's this powerful metaphor for a struggle that I think we all feel. That desperate search for something that deep down we might already have. Okay, so let's just walk through this story. It's so simple, but man, it is deep. So this guy, Yajnadatta, he's looking in a mirror. He sees a head in the reflection, but somehow he gets completely convinced that his head is missing, gone. This throws him into an absolute panic, right? He starts running around asking everybody, "Have you seen my head? Where's my head?" Finally, a friend just stops him, points, and says, "Dude, relax. Your head is right there, on your shoulders." And just like that, boom, he stops searching, the realization just floods in, it was never ever lost. And you gotta ask yourself, right? How often do we do that? We search for happiness, or peace, or meaning, like it's some lost object we have to find out there, when, just maybe, it's been right here the whole time. And that's the big question, isn't it? How are we, just like Yajnadatta, where are we running around, searching frantically in all the wrong places? So the sermon lays out two different paths. First, there's the wrong path. This is all about chasing things on the outside. Getting hung up on names like Buddha or Zen, reading all the books, trying to figure it all out with your intellect, or worse, looking for some guru to just give you the answer. That's getting fooled by the reflection in the mirror, right? But then there's the right path, and that's the complete opposite. It's about turning your attention inward, just observing your own experience, right here, right now, and realizing that the truth isn't something you go out and get. It's already here. Okay, and this is where things get really interesting, and honestly, a little shocking. We have to talk about the role of the Zen master, because their job isn't to be nice and give you comforting answers. Nope. Their job is to absolutely shatter your illusions, and sometimes they do it in some pretty wild ways. So, get this. Imagine your teacher looks you dead in the eye and tells you to steal the farmer's ox. And then, just to double down, he says, "And while you're at it, snatch food from the hungry." I mean, what? That sounds absolutely monstrous. It goes against everything we believe is right. So you have to ask, why? Why on earth would a teacher say something so cruel, so obviously wrong? Well, the answer is pretty radical. The whole point is to just destroy every single idea you're holding on to. Your ideas of good and bad, right and wrong, even your idea of what a teacher is supposed to be. See, these commands, they're not meant to be taken literally. They're designed to be so shocking, so jarring, that your logical brain it just short circuits. It's like hitting a reset button to force you out of your head and into direct, unfiltered reality. And there's this incredible story that illustrates this perfectly. A Zen master named Feng Yang decides he wants to test his 200 disciples. So what does he do? He serves meat and wine inside the sacred temple. I mean, that's a huge no-no, a massive breaking of the rules. And just as you'd expect, most of the disciples are totally disgusted. They get up and leave. But 7 of them stay. And the story goes that those 7 became enlightened. Why? Because they were able to see past the rules, past their rigid ideas of purity, and they understood what the master was really doing. So this all brings us right back to where we started. After all the searching, after all these shocking tests, what is it we're actually supposed to be finding? What exactly is this head that was on our shoulders the whole time? Well, the sermon points out something really important. We've got a ton of different names for it, don't we? We call it Buddha, or the mind, nirvana, the true self, the Tao, the absolute, all these big spiritual-sounding words. But here's the twist. They're all just names. They're just signposts, fingers pointing at the moon. They're pointing to something that, at its core, has no name at all. It's beyond words. And chasing after the words, getting caught up in the labels, that's exactly like chasing the reflection in the mirror instead of just realizing you have a head. So let's get clear on what this teaching means by mind. It's not talking about your brain or the thoughts inside your skull. It's defining mind as the formless, always-on activity of awareness itself.
Think about it. It's the seeing that's happening in your eyes as you watch this. It's the hearing in your ears. It's the feeling in your body right now. You see, it's not some thing you can find. It is the very experiencing that's happening.
Okay, so if it's not some far-out mystical state we have to achieve with crazy tests, then where is it? And this is where the whole thing becomes just beautifully and radically simple. It's about finding this profound truth in the most ordinary parts of life.
The master's instruction is this: when you're hungry, just eat. That's it. Nothing more. When you're tired, just sleep. Simple as that.
And that's it. That's the whole secret. This is what the sermon calls being a person with nothing to do. Now, that doesn't mean you become lazy and do nothing. It means you've stopped the frantic search. You're not trying to become enlightened anymore. You're not trying to find peace. You're just living, fully present. You finally stopped looking for your head because you realized it was right there on your shoulders the whole time. The treasure, it was never ever lost. So that leaves us with one final question, and this one is for you. Take a look at your own life, your own search for happiness, for fulfillment, for meaning. What's the head that you're so convinced you've lost? What are you running around so frantically trying to find?